Nigeria wastes 115 billion naira on gas in 7 months. President Trump turns down virtual debate.
On sport news tonight, NFF debunks 4 Super Eagles players contracting COVID-19. This and more sporting stories much later on the news. My name is Moses or Jeremy. Stay with us.
Just to remind you, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. This is Ogtv News, the main news. President Muhammadu Buhari has presented the 2021 budget proposal to the joint session of the National Assembly as presided by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan and the Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila. The budget proposal presented by the President is estimated at 13.08 trillion naira for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. The thrust of the 2021 budget, as announced by the President, is aimed at targeting ongoing projects, giving priority to the ones that most affect Nigerians.
And strengthen the resilience of the economy. The 2021 appropriation has, therefore, been themed the budget of economic recovery and resilience. It is expected to accelerate the pace of our economic recovery, promote economic diversification, enhance competitiveness, and ensure social inclusion.
The President charged ministries, departments, and agencies on the need for revenue generation for economic sustainability. The President also urged the 9th Assembly to consider and approve the budget proposal before the end of the year 2020 and also pass the Petroleum Industry Bill.
3.51 billion naira. B. Northeast Development Commission, 29.7 billion naira. C. National Judicial Council, 110 billion naira. D. Universal Basic Education Commission, 70.05 billion naira.
The Senate on its part has mandated its Committee on Appropriation to ensure that senators get copies of the 2021 budget for second reading next week. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, announced this shortly after the President presented the budget.
We would expect our Committee on Appropriations to work round the clock from today. We hope that they will be able to finish by the end of tomorrow or early Saturday and then get these documents to our colleagues. We want to finish the second reading in 2 days or where necessary in 3 days. That's the whole of the legislative week, next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So papers will be provided for senators to indicate the day they want to make their contribution, whether it is Tuesday or Wednesday. Nevertheless, we feel that we should take the debate, the second reading of the PIB, on Tuesday, the upper week, 20th. So while we are working on the budget, they can be doing some side work, at least keep the work on the PIB a little bit warm.
The federal government says it remains committed to meeting the nation's debt obligations as 3.12 trillion naira is earmarked for debt service in the 2021 budget proposed. President Muhammadu Buhari made this known when he presented the 2021 budget proposal to the National Assembly. According to him, the amount represents an increase of 445.57 billion naira from 2.68 trillion naira in 2020. A total of 2.18 trillion naira has been set aside to service domestic debts, while 940.89 billion naira has been provided for foreign debt service. President Muhammadu Buhari says Nigeria's economy may slip back into recession. The president explains that Nigeria's economy is being battered by the global economic fallout from COVID-19, adding that a drop in crude oil prices deprives the country of key revenues. The president noted that global crude prices tumbled early in the year, falling below $20 per barrel in April. The Nigerian economy is currently facing serious challenges, with the macroeconomic environment being significantly disrupted by the coronavirus pandemic, with real gross domestic product growth decline by 6.1% in the second quarter of 2020. President Muhammadu Buhari says only workers captured on the Integrated Personal Payroll Information System platform will be paid salaries. He said this during the presentation of the proposed 2021 budget of 13 trillion naira to the National Assembly on Thursday. He explained that the decision not to pay federal workers not captured on the IPPIS is to reduce personnel cost. This is coming amidst the ongoing strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities over IPPIS and other matters. He said personnel cost accounted for 34% of total federal government spending and is projected at 33% of 2021 expenditure. The Senate has dismissed reports that it has put on hold consideration of the Petroleum Industry Bill, PIB, because it will be attending to the 2021 budget. The Senate said it never made such decision, but has instead finalized preparation for the second reading passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill in the next 2 weeks. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, said this during an interactive session with journalists at the Senate on Thursday. Bashiru said the National Assembly will consider both bills side by side for the benefits of the country, especially as it will create more revenue sources for funding the budget and boosting the economy. The Senate is committed to the expeditious passage of the PIB because it is central to the realization of revenue and putting our oil in the competitive international market. On the 20th of October, the Petroleum Industry Bill would enter second reading, after which it will be sent to the relevant committees of the Senate, that is, the committees on upstream, downstream, and gas sector. You're watching Ogtv News. Up next in the news, Norway President Ibrahim Khalil slumps and dies. More news and reports after this break. Most welcome back. Workers in the Ogun State Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment have been charged to regularly sharpen their skills and widen the scope of their knowledge so as to improve their productivity. The State Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Kikelo Molonge, gave the charge during the closing ceremony of a 3-day intensive in-house training held at the Ministry's conference room, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Mrs. Longe called on the workers to strive for excellence by reading widely, improving their diction, and accurately apply the knowledge gained to address challenges which would ultimately help in the actualization of organizational goals as well as foster team harmony.
How do you do that? Practice, practice, practice. So when you're given a charge to write a speech, remember all the things you've learned. Put all those principles into play. When you're asked to come and make a speech, a public speech, remember all what Pastor D taught you. When you're writing your memo, which you do almost on a daily basis, remember all what you've learned here.
So, the permanent secretary in the ministry and initiator of the program, Mr. Oluola Aikulola, said the training was organized to improve performance and productivity of the ministry's members of staff, calling on them to make the best use of the knowledge gained to improve their contribution to the success of the ministry and state. The resource persons, Mrs. Tope Balogun and Adewale Dosumu, as well as Dr. Mrs. Bemisola Shoyombo, who trained the participants on speech writing, public speaking skills, and use of grammar and memo writing, respectively, said participants must have a daily habit of learning and apply what is learned to improve the society. Speaking on behalf of other participants, Mrs. Oluwagbemi Galayode and Tolulope Adenuga, who lauded the initiative, described the training as revealing and enlightening, calling for the program to be organized regularly. The appointment of nominees for the statutory commissions and State Universal Basic Education Board, earlier screened by the Ogun State House of Assembly, has been confirmed with a charge on them to bring their wealth of experience to bear in moving the state forward and avoid any act capable of creating conflict between the executive and legislative arms of government. Speaker Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo gave this charge during the confirmation of the appointees at the Assembly Complex, Okimoson, Abeokuta. Correspondent Kolawole Osho covered the plenary, and his report is presented in this package.
The confirmation of the appointment of the Commission's superb nominees was sequel to the presentation of the report of the House Committee on Selection presented by the Majority Leader Yusuf Sharif, who thereafter moved the motion for its adoption, seconded by the Minority Leader Honorable Ganiu Oyedeji, and supported by the whole House through a voice vote. The commissions included the State Civil Service Commission to be chaired by Engineer Tokunbo Odebuni, Local Government Service Commission to be headed by Olubukola Onabanjo, Teaching Service Commission to be led by Evangelist Olaleko Ifede, House of Assembly Service Commission, Honorable Waliu Taiwo, and the State Universal Basic Education Board to be chaired by Dr. Femi Majekodumi.
The nominees of the governor for the statutory commission and board of the state are hereby confirmed by this house, and you will be ready for the governor for swearing in. But let me charge them to please put their wealth of experience at the disposal of the people of the state by serving the people well, and so pronounce.
Speaker Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo enjoined them to be the instrument of cordial relationship between the legislative arm and the executive. In the same vein, the State House of Assembly has acknowledged the correspondence of the State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun requesting for the confirmation of appointment of two commissioners, Professor Abayomi Adelaja Aribabu and Abdulwahid Uduola Udushile. Reading the governor's letter at the plenary, the Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, stated that it was in furtherance of the desire of the governor to improve the quality of service delivery to the people of the state. Consequently, Oluomo has invited the nominees to submit 30 copies each of their curriculum vitae and other credentials to the Assembly by Friday, 9th October 2020. The Speaker also invited the two nominees to appear before the state lawmakers for screening on Monday, 12th October 2020 at the Assembly Complex, Okimoso, Abeokuta at noon.
Still on Assembly matters, the Ogun State House of Assembly has again called on the state government to immediately convene a security summit to address the rising cases of overzealousness on the part of officers and men of the Nigerian customs in border areas of the state. The Speaker, Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, made the call during the plenary while responding to the presentation of Honorable Musefiu Lamidi, who lamented the alleged unprofessional activities of the men of customs in some parts of his constituency, especially in the Ijila community around Itekun. The area, he noted, is over 120 kilometers away from the border. Correspondent Kolawole Osho covered the plenary, and his report is presented in this package.
Under personal explanation, member representing Adodo Ota State Constituency 2, Honorable Musefiu Lamidi, alleged that the customs men shot sporadically in Ejila and other communities of his constituency a few days ago, and also seized engine boats meant to transport passengers. In his response, Speaker Right Honorable Olakuni Onyono enjoins the state government to immediately call for stakeholders summit on security, which will consist of officers and men of customs, security agencies, traditional rulers, and people in the border communities to stem the incessant killings by customs in border areas of the state.
A lot of things are going on. Most of the men of the custom are peers overseers. May I use this opportunity to please call on Mr. Governor at the side time you organize a security summit between the custom, security agents, traditional and our people in those concerned local governments. We so appeal to you, Mr. Governor, please do something.
Onyono, while responding to the presentations of the Majority Leader Yusuf Sharif, Minority Leader Ganiu Uedeji, and Chief Whip Atimoke Bello on the need to apply palliatives on some portions of roads in their constituency, appreciates the State Ministry of Works and Infrastructure on the current works being done on Olumori-Itaoshi Road, while urging the ministry to synergize with the Federal Controller of Works as well as FEMA on the need to fix all the failed portions of the federal roads in the state.
I want you to use your good office to help us to fix Georgiou. Georgiou now become a death trap. Ojuore, Songo, State Hospital, all of those places have become a death trap. Agbara, so I want you to use your good office to please appeal to whoever is concerned to help us fix all these so that at least people who can move freely.
Don't forget that the roads, the ones you mentioned in particular, are federal roads. I want to seize this opportunity to ask the Ogun State Commissioner for Works to liaise with the Controller of Works or the Federal Controller of Works in Ogun State. All of them should please work together, appeal to the advisor. They should just help us go back to that spot and implement some palliative.
He equally enjoined all the federal lawmakers from the state, including the 3 senators and 9 federal House of Representative members, to up their game by agitating for the rehabilitation of all the federal roads within the state.
Ogun State government has identified adult literacy as one of the major tools towards achieving a better educational standard in the state. The special advisor to the state governor on primary and secondary education, Mrs. Ronke Shoyombo, said this during a strategic meeting with stakeholders on mass literacy, adult and non-formal education held at the Ministry of Education Conference Hall, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Mrs. Shoyombo revealed that Ogun State has committed itself to the agenda of the National Commission for Mass Literacy, Adult and Non-Formal Education to significantly reduce and eventually eradicate the number of youths and adult illiterates by setting and maintaining standards in literacy and numeracy attainment in the sector.
Because everybody to me is important. And that's why, as facilitators, never teach by only talking. Show us the practical. Let people have hands-on. Some of your students are kinesthetic learners.
In his welcome address, the Director, Adult and Mass Education, Mr. Adebola Lawal, posited that the meeting was put in place to chart a course to advance the adult education sector in the state. The World Bank project manager in the state, Ms. Salaiton Olawaye, hinted that the World Bank has been working tirelessly with the current administration in the state to support and move the adult and non-formal education forward, enjoining the stakeholders to reciprocate government's gesture by putting in their best for the project. For effective, functional, technical and vocational education in Ogun State during and after COVID-19 pandemic, a one-day summit has been held by the State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology for all stakeholders in the sector. The summit, which was held at the Valley View Auditorium, Government House, Isalekbe in Abeokuta, has as its theme post-COVID-19 management of the education sector for effective human capital development. Benga Adekoya's report is presented from our studios.
Stakeholders from all the polytechnics, technical schools and colleges of education in Ogun State converged on the auditorium of the Valley View Government House, Isalagbe in Abeokuta, for a day summit put together by the State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology to further curb the spread of COVID-19 pandemic and as well avail them the opportunity of e-learning. Declaring the summit open, the State Head of Service, Alhaja Selimot Otun, who was represented at the event, appreciates the efforts of the ministry for deeming it fit to put together the summit at this crucial period.
Training must not just be for training's sake. At every point in time, organizations must identify the needs of its personnel so that whatever training that is arranged is well focused and suited to meet the needs of the personnel of such organization.
In his opening remarks, Professor Joseph Odemiwa, Special Advisor to the State Government Technical Education, says the program is also aimed at preferring solutions to fill the gap between education administrators and school administrators.
I believe that governance is about filling gap. You cannot complete, you cannot finish government business. There will still be something to be done. And the essence of our coming together is to look at that which is yet to be done. The administration of Prince Dr. Abiodun MFR is poised to effect a change within the education sector.
Delivering his paper titled Post-COVID-19 Management of the Education Sector for Effective Human Capital Development, Professor Victor Olusegun Ogunusi harps on the need for school administrators to encourage teachers, lecturers and instructors to design self-learning materials that can be used in a situation where e-learning is not practicable.
Consequently, government must be sensitized and persuaded to provide funds, or institutions provide the same through the IGRs to tackle deficit in interconnectivity, high cost of bandwidth, data, and computer interface. All the above may sound like Herculean tasks or challenges, but these times are also new normal times, unusual times.
Some of the participants give kudos to the state government for putting together the program and promise to make proper use of what they have learned in the course of the summit into practice at their various institutions. The summit later went into technical session where various laudable ideas were rolled out for proper implementation.
In a bid to improve the health of nursing mothers and children, governors elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress are to prioritize the implementation of the 180-day 6-month maternity leave. This was contained in a communique issued at the end of a virtual meeting of secretaries to state governments of the APC-controlled states, which was jointly signed by Alhaji Adamu Fanini, SGS Jigawa State, and his Plateau State counterpart, Professor Danladi Atu. The communique of the meeting, which was held on October 6th, was released by the Secretariat of the Progressive Governors Forum in Abuja on Thursday. The virtual meeting had the theme developing common policy initiatives on maternal and child health, child nutrition promotion in APC states. The meeting, which was held under the auspices of the Progressive Governors Forum, noted that overarching the objective was to identify salient and common initiative of maternal and child nutrition that can be replicated across all the APC-controlled states. The co-chairman of the PGF Governance Program Steering Committee, Simon Lalong, Governor of Plateau State, declared the meeting open, while the Jigawa State counterpart, Muhammad Abubakar Badaru, declared the meeting closed. Towards achieving targets 4 and 7 of the Sustainable Development Goal, which is gender equality, the Committee for Women Empowerment of the International Federation of Training and Development Organizations has undertaken advocacy campaign around educational institutions in the country. The committee, led by its chairman, Mrs. Janet Jola Osho, was at the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro and Moshood Abiola Polytechnic Ojere Abeokuta to seek their support at actualizing some of the goals of the committee's entrepreneurial and vocational empowerment. Elizabeth Esson completes the story.
International Federation of Training and Development Organizations Committee for Women Empowerment Africa and Asia was mandated and commissioned to commence planning and possible implementation of an empowerment program at its meeting held in Cairo, Egypt in 2019. The committee was initiated to reposition IFTDO and to contribute immensely to the issue of youth and women empowerment in the world. To source for support and sponsorship from individuals, organizations and government agencies in executing its projects, advocacy visits were paid to 2 tertiary institutions in Ogun State by members of the committee.
We discovered that there's a gap between the graduates and the work that they are going to. Most of them are not prepared. They don't know what they are expecting. And again, what they have learned is theoretically, when they come out, they cannot translate it to practice. Because between theory and practice, there's lack of understanding. So how can we bridge the gap, especially in the area of social life, if not academic life, social life, and how do they become employable with the right attitude?
The rectors of the 2 institutions commend the body for taking the bold step at ensuring unhindered implementation of the SDGs, particularly Target 4 and 7, just as they pledged their commitment to support the initiative.
We have come to bring today is a reflection of the facts that we are in tandem with our vision, because we have not seen some signs indicating that we are of course we wouldn't have made any efforts to come over here and partner with us. So this is a confirmation of the fact that we are of course.
Areas of focus of the Committee for Women Empowerment include upskilling programs for women in C-suite, agri-based preservation process techniques and ICT skills, women in politics by enhancing opportunities for women participation, finishing school for young female adults, as well as training the professional coaching certification. Elizabeth Esson, Ogtv News.
Ogun State government has reiterated its commitment to ensuring that all local government areas in the state fulfill their mandate through provision of basic amenities to their people. The State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Afolabi Efrakwe, stated this while commissioning some projects in the local government area of the state on behalf of the State Governor, Prince Dakwa Abiodun. Yusuf Ganiyu reports.
Provision of basic amenities such as potable water, healthcare facility, good road network, amongst others, remain a critical aspect of developing any community, especially the grassroots. The current administration in Ifo local government area of the state, led by its chairman, Honorable Folawe Salami, therefore deemed it fit to provide these amenities to its people within the nooks and cranny of the council area. While commissioning the projects, which include a block of 2 classrooms at Isashi Primary School in Akute, Primary Healthcare Center, Maidon, as well as boreholes in Okela and Onoshi areas, the State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Afolabi Efrakwe, says the project is to further create an enabling environment for learning and for accessible healthcare delivery.
Because you don't have primary education, you cannot do anything. It's a foundation. That's why this project is a legacy project. It's important.
While appreciating the leadership of the council for their efforts, the commissioner states that the current administration is dedicated to ensuring local government fulfill their mandate to the grassroots.
Of course, now I'm saying that the purpose of local government is to bring governance close to the people. And as such, if local government cannot do this, what are we going to do? Even though financially we are still struggling, but as a father, the governor came to our aid, he assisted, and it's going to be a continuous exercise.
Chairman Ifo local government, Honorable Folawe Salami, believes that this kind of initiative will help the community to grow in all spheres.
Definitely, when you do good things, everybody will feel happy. Everybody will feel all right. We should put our appreciation to His Excellency, Prince Dakwa Abiodun, that give us this opportunity to act on these ways and to do good things for local government as a whole.
Personalities present at the occasion applauded both to the state and local government for this kind of gesture.
Sincerely speaking, it will benefit because it's what we have been looking for. Either school, borehole, and all those things, all the projects, is fantastic one.
presentation spiced up the occasion. Yusuf Ganilu, Ogtv News.
Katsina State Government, before we go to Katsina, let's take the story on Ogun State. Ogun State Government has recorded another feat in agriculture by empowering 54 youths with 1,000 broiler birds each, coupled with adequate funding and supply of inputs and market linkage. Confirming this was the State Deputy Governor, Engineer Noimo Salako Oyedele, during the official handing over of 54,000 broiler birds to off-takers at Ewije Farm Institute, Odeda. The Deputy Governor at the event lauded the commitment of the young and vibrant farmers and reiterated that such zeal would boost the interest of other farmers interested in poultry and other agro-business in the state. Ifeshuluade completes the story.
On the 23rd of December 2019, the state government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, kickstarted the broiler project aimed at empowering 54 youths with 1,000 birds every 6 weeks, making it a total of 162,000 broiler birds in 3 cycles for the participants. Despite the unlikely circumstances associated with the outbreak of the deadly coronavirus, the youth poultry farmers still got the enormous financial support and training, which led to the handing over of the 3rd set of 6-week-old broilers to off-takers as promised by the Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Adeola Odedino.
1,000 balls. That's one of the highest empowerment you can give a young person. Some of the guys, people playing a big role in the poultry industry today started with 50 balls or 100. So since we started with 1,000 and you made it through 3 cycles, you are the future of poultry and broiler value chain in Nigeria, because Ogun State is the highest producer of broiler in Nigeria.
The Commissioner discloses the Ministry's plans to further replicate the project in other 19 local government areas of the state to interested youths.
I also have the permission to engage you as special instructor, professor, and teachers because we are replicating this in other 20 local government areas. I also have the instruction and permission of His Excellency to further train you so that you can be qualified for next level of support by banks.
Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Engineer Noimo Salako Oyedele, who represented Governor Dapo Abiodun at the event, commended the efforts of the participants in the Agricultural Value Chain Initiative.
We are graduating from the real institution of agribusiness, and we are validating this feat by presenting certificates as evidence that you have done this business in 3 cycles of 6 weeks each. You have run a profitable business and achieved world-breaking records. We have also declared each of you broiler production business ambassadors in the state.
The 54 brethren, after officially handing over the broiler birds to the Deputy Governor for sale, were thereafter presented with certificates of participation.
We have graduates here, master's degree holders, PhD holders here, and again we are PhD holders again, umbrella. Thank you, we really appreciate it.
The project, according to dignitaries present, is an indication of the workability of the present administration to use agricultural value chain to create jobs through industrial linkage opportunities. Ifeshuluade, Ogtv News.
Now to Katsina State. Katsina State government has attributed its inability to carry out some projects in the state due to insecurity. The Commissioner for Works and Transport, Alhaji Dahiru Dedangoro, disclosed this to newsmen at a press briefing on the activities of the ministry from 2015 to 2020. Dedangoro said the roads, some of which have reached 50% completion, are in all the southern parts of the state, including that of Kankara, Zongo, and Danzabao. The Commissioner said the construction has been put on hold due to security concerns to work in order to safeguard the lives of the workers. But he said despite the security concern in the same area, the contract for the construction of 45-kilometer Agobi-Baure-Shimfida Batsari Road has just been awarded. He added that the state government from 2015 to date has awarded a total of 452.1 kilometers of road projects at a cost of 41.59 billion naira in the state. Similarly, he explained that the state government has expended the sum of over 7.1 billion naira for the completion of 13 projects inherited from the previous administration. As part of a new subsidiary air interdiction operation, Third Kashmugu 2, the air component of Operation Thunder Strike has hit some bandit camps and neutralized scores at their hideouts at the forests and border areas of Kaduna State. The air strikes were executed at Camp Alpha in Kwambana Forest, as well as Tadaman, Kanauta, and Jambini after credible human intelligence reports. This is also consequence on series of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions established that the locations were being used by the bandits as staging areas to store their logistics, hide rustle cattle, and human attacks. The airstrike at Kwambena Forest was undertaken after an ISR aircraft spotted 4 clusters of huts where the bandits reside. The Nigerian Air Force jets and an attack helicopter dispatched by the air component recorded successful hits in the target area, taking out some of the bandits. In the statement by the coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Defense Headquarters, Major General John Inenche, has it that at Fadaman, Kanauta, and Jambini, the Nigerian Air Force attack aircraft took turns in hitting the target areas, leading to the neutralization of several of the bandits, as well as damage to their dwellings. The Nigerian military was soliciting continued useful information from the general public that will facilitate its operations to restore peace and security to all affected parts of the country. However, thanked all Nigerians for their support. The recent ban on routine patrol, stop and search placed on the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad and other tactical security personnel of the Nigerian police by the Inspector General Mohammed Adamu has been greeted with wide commendations by Nigerians. Speaking with Ogtv News in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, respondents said the step taken by the IGP becomes necessary as they describe the attitude of some of the security officers on Nigerian roads as unwholesome. Peter Falomo completes the story.
Recently, the Inspector General of Police, Abubakar Adamu, banned men of the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad, the Special Tactical Squad, and the Intelligence Response Team from undertaking routine patrols as well as stop and search duties. The directive comes on the heels of an outrage over alleged criminal and extrajudicial actions of the Federal SARS personnel against citizens in various parts of the country.
Operation of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, which is currently centralized at the Force Headquarters, is hereby decentralized. All quasi-investigation and operation units, including Special Investigation Panel, Special Tactical Squad, or any other such teams under whatever name, are hereby disbanded.
It is on this premise that some residents eulogized the step taken by the police authority against the alleged irrational actions of the Federal SARS, which according to them is long overdue.
Many of them, I'm not saying all, many of them, they don't even know the primary objective of setting them up. And to now ask, for the IG of police to say they must be removed from the road, I think it's actually winning the heart of so many Nigerians. You see them wearing vests, no name tag, no soldier number, nothing to even identify them from the so-called robbers. And as a matter of fact, if one says there are two sides of the same coin, with the so-called kidnappers, all these social menaces on the road, I don't think we are far away from the answer.
They, however, say the authority of the police formation should not throw caution into the wind concerning commendable achievements of the police units of the nation's security outfits through their unrelenting efforts against crime fighting in the country.
Well, to me, we cannot say that because something is not good, we should not throw away the bathwater with the baby. These policemen, especially the SARS that we are talking about, they are a unit or a branch of the police generally. charged with certain responsibilities. And I believe that since the responsibilities are still there, we should not send them away just like that. I think we should find a way of assisting them or making them responsible for their responsibility on the road.
I would expect an holistic reform of those formations. Reform in terms of training and retrainings, and promoting community-friendly policing, that they should know they exist for the people and because of the people, and they should also understand the global-based way of practicing